Welcome to the Queen City Soccer Show. I'm your host, Level Up Luke, and we have a special episode today. I have an interview that Soccer Sheet has provided based on the Footy Awards, the 2024 Footy Awards, and they have an Editor's Choice Award that they gave out to the USL Super League. The debut season just wrapped up for the USL Super League. It is a women's professional league, Division 1. It is a rival league of NWSL, which most of you are familiar with. Carolina Ascent falling in the semifinals this year in the USL Super League. Carolina Ascent had a fantastic first season. They won the Players Shield and had tremendous attendance. They broke 10,000 in attendance a few times at American Legion Memorial Stadium. And the soccersheet.com USL Super League Player of the Year is Emina Ekić. She is a Bosnian-American midfielder who led the league with 16 goal contributions. That's 10 goals and 6 assists for Spokane Zephyr. So Emina is a fantastic young player. She's getting national caps for Bosnia-Herzegovina. She played in the UEFA Nations League in February. Spokane did narrowly miss out on the playoffs, but Amina's background here, she played for the University of Louisville, played for Racing Louisville in NWSL, went on loan to Australia, which is pretty cool. And this season tied the Golden Boot winner of USL Super League, Allie Thornton from Dallas Trinity FC, for most goal contributions. But she did win USL Player of the Year, and Spokane also their goalkeeper won Goalkeeper of the Year. We're looking forward to seeing the Carolina Ascent come back next year, and I'm sure we'll be hosting Emina Ekić, and maybe we can make some moves and even get her on the squad at Carolina. That would be a blockbuster trade. So this is Sam Spencer and Yara Al-Bayari from soccersheet.com. The two of them have this amazing interview with Emina Ekić. It's just kind of rounding out our general coverage of soccer in the U.S. and how the sport is growing. Here we go. Hope you guys enjoy.
Well, Amina, thank you so much for talking with me today. So first off, had your last match of the season. How do you feel looking back on your first USL Super League season?
Of course, thank you for having me. I would say that this weekend was disappointing because we worked really hard in the spring to put ourselves in a position to be in playoffs. But looking back, over the course of the whole year, I mean, I think it's a lot to be proud of. Like, we've had a lot of growth, on and off the field and individually, personally, club wide. So I just think it was a little stepping stone leading into the second year, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So what were the highlights of the year for you?
Um, I would say the first game was really cool, having the fan base in Spokane just really like show out for us. Um, Probably a lot of good memories in the spring. Scoring my first goal, obviously the first game for the club, that was amazing. And then I think I would say my free kick against DC at home because I feel like that really changed the pace and the energy shift for us going in the spring, where we had that mentality where we were like, we're going in this to win or try to win every single game.
Yeah. So that was a big storyline for the second half of the season that Spokane Zephyr sort of came out of nowhere and really made that push. What you think changed, or how do you think the team came to get together to make that push?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly what happened. Like in the locker room behind closed doors, the team really came together, and um, we knew we could accomplish more and we can do better than we performed in the fall. I think everyone had a much higher standard for themselves individually, but us as a whole. So it was a lot of just like getting on the same page, having each other's backs, understanding the game plan, and that's really what it came down to. We worked really hard for one another and we all believed in the same thing.
So you've had a pretty amazing journey. Grew up in Louisville, drafted fifth for the NWSL. So how did you make your way to the Super League via Australia?
Well, I had someone from the club reach out, and after Australia, I really loved it, enjoyed my time there. I loved Melbourne City, great club. But it was just difficult for me to be that far from home for that long. Um, so I was kind of exploring my options in back in the US when I was home for break, and Spokane kind of just fell in my lap.
Did you get to go to the Australian Open or do anything cool when you were in Queensland?
I did actually go to the Australian Open, and that was a cool experience. I watched what's his name play. I'm blanking now. The Serbian tennis player.
Oh,
Novak
Djokovic?
Novak Djokic, yeah.
Yeah.
Djokovic. No, it was a cool experience.
So So a lot of people have had the similar journey. Like Carolina Ascent's, you were the Zephyr's first ever goal scorer. Ascent's first ever goal scorer also came back to the Super League from Australia. And one of the things that I've heard a lot in my conversations is how important the Super League has been to have the extra, up to 300 slots for women to come back and play in the US. Is that something that's that you've seen in your career?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the US is very competitive, and it has limited spots. I think it's a superpower for women's soccer. So a lot of the girls that maybe aren't playing in the NWSL have to go overseas where, they have like a first league, a second league, a third league, like just so many like opportunities for women to play soccer. So I think adding another league to the US and like keeping this talent like in the US is like a great opportunity.
So what was it like, going through the entire process of, from high school, ACC, Division One, NWSL, and the Super League? Like, what was that always your plan, or did you have something else in mind when you started playing soccer?
Um, I feel like ever since I was little, I kind of known that I wanted to play professionally, and it was just like focusing on like what was ahead of me. So, having a great club season, um, making my high school team, and then once I was in high school, the main focus really was college and playing in college. And from from then on, then it was like once I got to college, I was like, I want to play in the pros. Like I want to do well here, and I feel like I've just always loved it throughout my whole life journey.
Um, i- in Charlotte, we have a lot of French players and a lot of Muslim players who observed Ramadan. What was this the first year that you did it? Because I know you've written about the experience, but wanted to know, what that was like and how much support you got from the team.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I grew up participating in Ramadan, but the club was amazing. They obviously like reached out to me, had conversations about it with me. Even like when it's not Ramadan on a day-to-day base, um, I have like special meals. So like say we get breakfast and like I have like a special like this is Emina, like it has my name on it because it's turkey bacon. It's not like all the other burritos, they have like bacon and we don't eat pork. So no, they've been just very accommodating to me in any way, shape, or form.
And women's soccer, especially in the U.S., it has been known for inclusion, and so is I would hope that's been just a positive experience from the team and the club every year that you've done it, right?
It has from being here to Melbourne City, like I feel like people always ask me, like they want to learn more, but they always try to accommodate me and what I need and reach out first and tell me to reach back out if I need anything changed or how that's gonna look. So yeah, it's been very inviting and it's been really easy.
So one of the really interesting things about your game is that you are one of the few players this year that had a shot at both the Golden Boot and the Golden Playmaker. So, how are you able to have such a versatile game where you're in position to score, and of course, a penalty kick taker, while at the same time, creating, being unselfish and creating so many opportunities for your teammates?
I don't know. That's a great question. Um, I just feel the biggest part of my game is fluidity and freedom. So I like to float and I like to be in different positions and stuff. And that's kind of it. Like, I don't know how to toot my own, like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I just feel like I have like different things in my toolbox. And I just want to be, I want the team to be successful. So to me, it's like not about like only me scoring or, like I like to like assist too and pass the ball and just like I have that vision for the game because I feel like I grew up watching it for so long. Um, and obviously learning from my dad and my family, like I feel like has only helped my soccer IQ and just being coached by some great coaches in my career. So yeah, I've always loved to dribble and I love to be on the ball. Um, and I feel like that's when I'm at my best.
So we've got international windows coming up, and you've got the summer break. You've gotten caps for Bosnia for Nations League. Just wanted to know, like, what has your international experience been like?
That's been great. I think I am maybe about 2 years in playing for Bosnia now. I think I started back in 23. It's been a great experience. I've always wanted to play international soccer. I think that's a dream come true for pretty much anyone that plays professionally, but um it took some adjusting at the beginning. They were always super friendly and welcoming, but it is like a big like lifestyle and change of scenery, obviously going from the US to Bosnia. And I do speak the language fluently, but still, I'm not in that environment constantly. So when I first showed up to camp, I feel like my brain was so tired because I'm just not used to like being switched on to Bosnian at all times. But it's just a different sense of pride you feel when you play for your country and the togetherness of everyone. And it's really cool because my parents fly out and watch. My grandparents live there, so they come to a lot of games. And I kind of feel like I live a double life, or like I've kind of connected this other half of my life. Um, to the rest of my life. And it's a really neat experience, and I'm really grateful for it.
And what has that been like with your parents? Sort of being first generation. You were born right after a lot of the conflict in Eastern Europe. It, what was the story that brought your parents to Louisville?
Yeah, so initially they left Bosnia due to war. And they grew up, I think they spent like their high school years in Germany, like learned German and that. And once the war settled and everything, and it was time for them to go back, Um, they didn't want to because there was not much to go back to, and they wanted a better life for themselves, and I'm sure like for the future, like their family. And I don't really know how it works from there, but they kind of just got placed in Louisville, Kentucky. They didn't really get to pick. And we've been here since, and this is where my brother were born and raised, and that's kind of it. Like some family followed before, after us. So a lot of my mom's side is in Louisville. And then a lot of my dad's side actually ended up in Melbourne, Australia. So it was cool getting to like meet a lot of them for the first time in person when I was there playing for Melbourne City. So that's just kind of how it happened. And then I still have a lot of family, that have stayed in those countries in Europe, some that have gone back to Bosnia. So I kind of have a little bit of family everywhere.
That's awesome. What are you so uh, in terms of Spokane, like how much has Zephyr and the Velocity meant to the community, and what have you guys gotten back?
I mean, I feel like we have gotten so much back, just like the support of this place from obviously not a great fall. Like I feel like everyone still believed in us. They came to the games. We didn't feel like that pressure. Like we felt bad as a team because we like wanted to do well for the coaches and the owners and the fans, and like things just weren't going our way at the time. But just that support was just like something that I've never felt before from a city and a fan base. And And yeah. Wait, what was the other part of your question?
Well, just the reverse. Like, what is the team meant to the city and the organization meant to
Yeah.
the city?
Um, we get out a lot and do a lot of volunteering. I think um our goal was that each individual does 10 volunteering things or yeah, things a year. And I'm assuming that goes for the men's team as well. So everyone has at least gotten out 10 times in the community and tried to help and give back in any way they can. So I feel like the community and the team are quite connected.
So I also wanted to know, was there any adjustment for you? Because obviously, when you were playing for racing, you get to go to Portland and you get to go to Seattle, but those are really different cities than Eastern Washington.
Yeah. Um, I think so. I feel like I've lived most of my life on the East Coast and traveling for short periods of time. It's like cool to see places, but you're not really like living there. So it's a different experience. I think it's a different vibe out here. It's peaceful, it's relaxing. I love the nature. The nature is very different from what we have back home. Um, but it does kind of remind me of Louisville because Louisville's not the biggest city. So in that sense, like it wasn't a shock to me. Like I think I kind of like things that are a little bit on the smaller side.
And looking back on this year, you know, what you told me the biggest moments for you, what were the most challenging moments?
Um, Great question. Obviously, the fall as a whole was difficult, but I feel like a couple times in the spring this year, um, like losing, I'm pretty sure both the losses to Carolina because we knew coming back into the spring that we couldn't drop points and, we had to win. We could tie only a handful of times and losing wasn't an option. So kind of like we won like a game or two and I think we lost to Carolina at home. And that kind of was like the locker room was like kind of like not again in a sense. Like we have to be consistent. We can't just like shut off or like win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. Like there's just not enough time for that really. So that's when we kind of locked in. And I want to say when we lost to Carolina the second time because we stuck to that and we were consistent and we were doing well. And it was just not our best game and the end of a really long trip. Um, and yeah, we were kind of like we felt on top because we have been winning and we were on a roll and things were like great and dandy. And then obviously that kind of like got our spirits a little bit down, but we recouped and we got back together. And then we're just like, we just have to keep going.
So, that I wanted to know also what you're looking forward to, in terms of the second season, because like anything new, there's a lot of skepticism whenever something new comes out, and then of course, the Ascent had their first game and 10,000 people, and Spokane's been one of the leaders in terms of attendance. W- you know, eh, what are you looking forward to in the second season?
Um, I feel like it's not just like our club, but league wide, there's like growing pains the first year. You're trying to get things down and, like simple as like flights and stuff, housing. And I just think as a whole, like Spokane included, like the second year, we kind of like already have one foot in the door. So we know what to expect, even with like the winter here and stuff we know what to expect that it's gonna be bad and it's gonna like snow and some days in the early spring we couldn't be outside and I'm sure there'll be plans in place, either to travel or to be in an indoor facility. But just little things like that, like logistics really, I think we've like all learned, it's like we're going into sophomore year, so I think we all just know what to expect.
And then, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce my colleague Yara. She does a lot of the social media for Soccer Sheet, and she loved your story and watching you this year, and wanted to pass a couple questions to her of your game.
Of course.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. I loved reading your article about playing during Ramadan this year.
Hi. Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask, I know in the MLS we don't see a lot of Muslim representation, especially for women. What would you tell your younger self, and what would you tell the little girls that look up to you as a player?
Um, I feel like I would just say to like be yourself and be unapologetically yourself. I just feel like when people ask me this question, it's just like it's never come across my mind, to like voice that I'm Muslim, and like I've had so many people come up to me because it's just something that I practice at home and like with my family and stuff. But it's just amazing how, everyone wants to learn more and everyone wants to help like multiple clubs like within Spokane and the USL, and I just think just like be yourself.
I love that. Do you
Thank you.
have any special traditions or experiences that you look forward to doing with your family during Ramadan?
Um, yeah, I mean, I just look forward to having, meals and dinner together, iftars together, and just being able to be at home, which was nice. So being away from home during Ramadan is hard, and like obviously the celebrations after Ramadan, but I'd say that's my favorite part, just being together.
Are you doing anything fun for Eid on Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, that's why I'm flying home tomorrow, actually. The 6th is my birthday.
Oh wow, happy Eid.
Thank you as well. So it's a two in one. So I get to, we're gonna have a little like family get together at my house. We're gonna, have a lamb roast and a bunch of, gifts and food. So it'll be a good time.
That sounds amazing. My last question is, you mentioned playing in Bosnia and getting to have your grandparents come out. What would you say was your most memorable moment playing over there and just being able to experience your culture in Bosnia?
Of course. I would say so. My first camp, we actually had a big family trip. So my family from Australia met us there, and obviously we flew over. So everyone was there, and everyone actually got to see me play for Bosnia for the first time. So we played at home, and then everyone drove to Budapest in Hungary, to watch me play the second game, and it was really cool. Like lots of travel, lots of food, and like everyone got to be together, which doesn't happen often because I mean Australia is so far away. So it was a cool experience that everyone got to like witness and be there.
That sounds awesome. I love when I get to visit my family too. It's just an amazing opportunity to see everyone there. And it must have felt, the energy must have felt unmatched having them all cheer for you in the stands together.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a really good time.
Sam, do you have any other questions? I'm going to toss it back to you.
Yeah, pardon my ignorance. I know that Bosnia tied in Nations League yesterday. Did they all advance, or did they get grouped?
Um, I need to double check to see how it works. I know that the top two advance and get to play like playoff games in a sense to be promoted to League A. We finished third, so I think we just stay in League B. And then I think fourth place is like contention for like being dropped down to League C. So I think nothing really happens with us, but I do need to double check.
Well, awesome. Well, is there anything else I forgot? Especially just with everything going on and growing, the game growing and having this year we've got Club World Cup next year, Men's World Cup comes to the US. Like, how do you feel about the state of soccer right now?
I mean, it's awesome. I think it's popping off and I'm excited to like be able to watch all these things from the US, but it's like crazy to hear my parents talk about it because when they first showed up here, soccer really wasn't a thing. No one was playing it, like it just didn't exist, and just like seeing from their point of views how much it's grown, and like in the last couple of years how much the women's game has specifically grown is just amazing. Like I'm really like lucky and blessed to like be here like when it's happening at this time.
Well, Amina, thank you so much for your time today. Best of luck in the off season, and look forward to seeing you the next time you're down here in Charlotte.
No, of course. Thank you so much for having me.